They are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. The Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it's easy to be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you very much. Good morning, guys, and welcome to a bonus episode of Gotta Have Heart Wrestling with your host, Jamal Holness. And wow, what a Survivor Series event last night. But this is the thing, I'm going to do another bonus episode about that because I'm going to take this time to do a very special tribute to the final farewell of The Undertaker. Man, I witnessed it last night, just him coming down to the ring for the final time. And I gotta be honest, it made me cry. It made me get tear up a lot because ever since I was born, and first time I witnessed The Undertaker on TV, I believe it was 1995, 1994, one of those 2 years. And ever since that very time I saw The Undertaker for the first time, when I was like a year or two old, I was mesmerized. I couldn't believe this real life character, just beating up all these guys and then in the WWE, and I just couldn't believe it. From that very moment, I knew that that guy was my hero because the way his character looked, his mystique, his everything, his aura, everything about the Undertaker was so freaking cool. Like I would always wish that every time I would go to a WWE event, I would want to see the Undertaker. Or if he even had competed at the WrestleMania, I hope the Undertaker wins, and he did that for every single year that he competed at WrestleMania, all the way to WrestleMania 30, of course. And terribly, his streak was ended. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing, and I loved it. Made me cry. And I'm glad that WWE gave him the amount of time to have all his closest friends come out there, greet him. I was even shocked to see the guy wins in Savio Vega. That was unexpected. That was surprising. But yeah, it was really cool. I'm glad I got to witness it. At the sponsors on WWE Network, it was really, really emotional. And I loved it. I really did. I really wish like we got to see maybe Undertaker a couple more times in matches. But sadly, in his own words, he could finally relay the Undertaker. Let the Undertaker rest in peace. So this episode, I want to talk about some of his greatest moments, greatest matches, a nice tribute to the Undertaker. This bonus episode will be all about the Undertaker, and it's gonna be pretty cool. I mean, who could forget we witnessed his first appearance at the 1990 Survivor Series exactly 30 years ago to this very day, where he had his final farewell. He'll be a member of the $1 Million Team, Ted DiBiase, of course, a surprise teammate. Seeing him for the first time, walk down with Brother Love, who we all know is Bruce Pritchard, and just seeing that guy for the first time, see how big he is, the black hat and the black coat and the gray tie, the gray and black, the gray gloves and black and then gray boots, and it's so amazing. And then even a year later, in 1991 Survivor Series, him defeating Hulk Hogan to capture his first WWF Championship. Yes, I'm gonna say WWF because at the time it was WWF. So at that time, Undertaker just really unstoppable. I mean, let's even go back. Let's even go to the year 1992 when we saw the first ever coffin match. It wasn't even called the casket match. It was called the coffin match with him and WWE legend Kamala. You know, and just him seeing him like slam that casket shut and nailing it to ensure Kamala didn't get out. Oh man, that was so freaking cool. It was. Even year previously, we saw him start this undefeated streak at WrestleMania. I mean, we saw him defeat Jimmy Superfly Snuka at WrestleMania 7 that year, 1991. And a year later, defeating one of my favorite legends, Jake the Snake Roberts at WrestleMania 8 in the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana. And ever since then, he's treated guys like Johnny Gonzalez, King Kong Bundy. Big Daddy Cool Diesel, well-known Kevin Nash, Psycho Sid, his brother Kane twice, WrestleMania 14 and 15 and 20, and so on. So it's pretty cool to even see that, really, really cool. Oh man. And let's even like go back to 1994 where we saw that cast match with him and Yokozuna at the Royal Rumble in Providence, where I currently reside, and it's pretty cool, just to see that. He lost that match that night and took some time off to come back at SummerSlam later on that year and face, well, I guess if you guys don't know yet, the fake Undertaker. Two Undertakers at SummerSlam '94 in Chicago. It was just so cool to see him come back with a little change up in the theme music, but also that same mystique. He was even bigger and badder than when he had first come to WWE in 1990 and so forth, proving that he was still on top. Even he did get the Survivor Series, beating Yokozuna in that same type of match that he got beat at the Royal Rumble in the casket match at the World Survivor Series in San Antonio, Texas. Pretty damn cool. We saw him involved throughout the 1995. He beats IRS at Royal Rumble. He beats King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania 11. He defeats Kama Mustafa, who all know as the Godfather right now. One of his close bestest friends too. At SummerSlam '94, at SummerSlam '95, sorry, in that casting match, and just him like, you know, I can remember about this though for the 1975 year when he came out and just had this aura about him. You saw him come back at the SummerSlam '95, but he had that face plated white mask. Oh man, that I thought you think the Undertaker regular is a scary look. See him with that white mask. He only had that for a couple months, I think, through the 1996 Royal Rumble with Bret Hart. But go back and watch that time the Undertaker. You will see how scary it looks in that mask. I kind of wish I had a replica of that mask because that is freaking scary. Like he looked like he was a ghostly Undertaker. Like that shit was scary. It even scared me as a child when I first seen him in that mask. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? So. Yeah, and then like I said, that's Rumble. That was one of my favorite Undertaker matches. I love a good Bret Hart Undertaker match. Not that's Rumble before I got into by Diesel, of course, but that was a great match. That really was. Of course, last time I got payback at Diesel at WrestleMania 12. It was a legendary WrestleMania. We'll talk about that another time on the podcast. But that match at WrestleMania, him and Diesel, pretty cool. Really cool. And then even at the night after the debut of Mankind, saw him and Taker engage in this 2-3 year rivalry. Oh man, we saw him first time when these two battled the 1916 of the Ring, badass match. The Boiler Room Brawl at SummerSlam '96. I was the first ever Boiler Room Brawl. I'd never seen a match like that of its kind, but Mankind subsequently defeated Undertaker that night too, even morphed into the Buried Alive match where we saw Undertaker defeat Mankind in the first. That was the first ever Buried Alive match too. Like we saw all these types of special matches. So a big thank you to Mick Foley for coming to WWE and getting us into those types of matches that we enjoyed this very day. You can go back and watch it on the WWE Network. It is phenomenal. It's so cool. Man, we even saw these two battle at the 1996 Survivor Series with Paul Bear suspended the high with the ring of Shark Cage, and from there forth, their rivalry just got more and more intense. And then I talked about this before in the podcast on the Undertaker and the special Undertaker full episode of the year 1978, where him and Mankind did that infamous battle inside Hell in a Cell, which subsequently made Mankind famous that night too. So, oh man, so many great memories. And then, therefore, in 1997, we saw him defeat Psycho Sid to win his second WWE Championship, which I thought that title run was pretty good too, because it did last a few months all the way through SummerSlam '97 with him and Bret the Hitman Hart. He dropped most of Bret Hart thanks to Shawn Michaels, of course. But if it hadn't been for that, we never got to see. We probably wouldn't have a chance to see what amazing chemistry Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker had. I mean, you saw the match at Ground Zero, knockdown drag out, ended in no contest. Until that led to the first ever Hell in a Cell match between Shawn and The Undertaker, which that hell wasn't really meant for them. It was meant to keep DX out, of course. But I didn't take a mention, a documentary about the Brothers of Destruction. That Hell in a Cell was fit to debut of the long 23 year storytelling WWE. His younger brother Kane. I agree with everybody. That is the best story in WWE's history. There was definitely a story that matched that, the history between Undertaker and Kane. You know, from that point on, even though Undertaker lost that Hell in a Cell match, Shawn Michaels thanks to his brother Kane, that just set off a whirlwind series of matches between these two men. I mean, who could ever forget, like, when we went to Rumble 98, where Undertaker lost that cash match with Shawn Michaels, then King setting it on fire. That was pretty damn crazy. And we saw these two evolve at WrestleMania 14 in Boston, which is my favorite, one of my favorite Undertaker King matches of all time. That's got to be the number one best match. In Boston that year, Undertaker defeating Kane and adding on another win to his undefeated streak of WrestleMania. And who could have forgot the Inferno match? Holy crap. The first time we saw a ring surrounded by flames, these two battling it out. King loses the match, getting his arm set on fire. It's pretty damn surreal here, too. We even saw them at Breakdown 98, Judgment Day 98, even Survivor 98. Lots of these matches between Undertaker and Kane. Pretty damn cool here. Oh, man. And even since that, after Survivor Series 98, we saw him metamorphosize into this evil, demonic character. You thought Undertaker could get more darker than that? The Ministry of Darkness. Enter the Ministry of Darkness, Undertaker. And it's so surreal here. We see him come out with this black cloak all draped all over him and speaking in tongues and trying to recruit some of the baddest, nastiest superstars to be in this part of this Ministry of Darkness here. You saw guys like it elevated the guys like the acolytes, Bradshaw and Farouk. You know, Dennis Knight, well know he'll be morphed into Midian. Vincera, you know. We saw the character Vincera come in here too. It's pretty surreal. We even saw what it did for the careers of Gangrel, Edge, and Christian at the time, recruiting in the group. It was so surreal that it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And heading to 1999, we had him feud with Mr. Man's Corporation. We saw Undertaker defeat the Big Boss Man at WrestleMania's first ever Hell in a Cell match between him and Boss Man at WrestleMania 15 in Philadelphia. Man, you thought it was Scary Movie hanging the Boss Man from the cage at the end of that night? Damn, that was like, what the hell? Damn, Undertaker's gone berserk, you know? Oh man. And let me say this. There's a lot of underrated matches in WWF that happened at the time. Not many people talk about this a lot. If we go back and watch the Undertaker Ken Shamrock match from Backlash '99 in Providence, you'd be surprised how good that match was too. Undertaker and Ken Shamrock, they never really had that much more matches, but that's the only match I can remember that was so great between these two that, pretty damn surreal here. It really was. Even like, going to even after that, we see Undertaker feud with the Big Show a little bit throughout a few times throughout the summer before they actually tag teamed with each other. One of the tag team champions twice that year in '99. But you know, we saw Undertaker fuse with the corporate ministry, Mr. Corporation, taking over Shane Man, of course, making it the corporate ministry. But if you go back and watch that Raw from June 7th, 1999, freaking Big Show chokes him and take it through the ring. That was pretty surreal stuff there too. Another great moment in Raw history there. And like, you see Big Show and Undertaker team up, win the tag team championships twice at SummerSlam 1999, and the first ever tag team barrier match on SmackDown with them against the Rock and Sock Connection, The Rock and Mankind. So pretty damn surreal here. Even one of my favorite matches throughout the pay-per-view 1999, him and Austin that first blood match, knockdown drag out. So the goddamn knockdown drag out. Even the year before SummerSlam 98 in Madison Square Garden. A classic between these two men. Oh, yeah, you got with the Undertaker 1999. You thought it wouldn't get bigger than that, metamorphosized? You were dead wrong. He would take some time off from WWE and he followed 1999 through early 2000. He came back at Judgment Day, not knowing what that promo was that I ran for weeks, that Judgment Day is coming. We don't know who it was, what it was. Then at the end of the Rock, Triple H 1 hour Iron Man match for the WWE Championship with Shawn as his special guest referee. We saw The Undertaker come back in something I never thought in history would see him. We see him in a black bandana, biker gear, bike outfit, coming down on a motorcycle, being not the dead man anymore, but declaring himself as the American badass. Hands down, Undertaker did it again. The one of the coolest personas ever. The American National Ticket will be my favorite because he did whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He was a straight badass, but it was so cool. You gotta love it. You really gotta love it. He has song produced by like Kid Rock at the time, Evelyn Biscuit with the Rolling, Rolling, Rolling theme. That is some of the best shit I've ever seen. Like it really is cool. I really wish he had held that persona for a longer time. Like that was so damn cool. I loved it. Every time Entei came out with that rolling theme song, yo, I would pay total attention and see what it's gonna do. Like it's crazy. You know, 2000 was a pretty good year for Undertaker. Even that Armageddon Hell in Cell match. Who could ever forget? He threw Rikishi off the top of the cell. Holy shit, that's crazy. You thought we Mankind was pretty surreal, man. He did it to Rikishi again. Even until the one, we see him teaming up with Brother King, and we saw even him Triple H down facing their first big matchup, WrestleMania 17, in front of 65,000 fans there, and it's pretty cool. It really was. Oh man. Even in later on that year, we saw people with Diamond Dallas Page. I think that rivalry was kind of a little underrated a little bit. I think that it could have been rated better. I enjoyed it. I really did. It was pretty good. It told a pretty good storyline right there. So it wasn't too bad. That was kind of one of the more Undertaker underrated storylines with him and Diamond Dallas Page. I felt they should have got more credit after that, in my opinion. But yeah, like you see the Undertaker battle with these more younger guys. Like Booker T's, the Rob Van Dams, of course, DDP at the time, Maven, who could I forget Maven, who limited the Undertaker at the 2002 Royal match. I thought that was one of the most shocking moments of WWE's history. If you go back and watch that, it's pretty damn surreal here. Even at the time where, the Undertaker also lost the Hardcore Championship to Diamond Dallas, I mean, not Diamond Page, excuse me, Maven, and like, holy crap, like, I didn't think I had a lot of confidence to push this kid, and he did it with no problem. I got Maven over really up by a lot, at that time. And then most people don't even talk about this, but as I heard on the documentary on the Daily Network, that when Ric Flair had battled Undertaker at WrestleMania 18 in the Sky Dome in Toronto, Ric Flair ultimately said that it gave him back his confidence that night. And I was like, wow, if it hadn't for that match, who knows where Ric Flair's career would have continued in the WWE at the time. And, pretty surreal. I like that match too. That match was also another underrated match. That match was really good. I enjoyed it. Then from there on, we see the Undertaker, defeat Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, at Judgment Day Challenge 2 to win his fourth WWE Championship. Pretty much right here. It was not only that, it was called the WWE Undisputed Championship. I loved it. I really did. It's really badass. From there, continue on until we saw this match doesn't get talked about a lot. If you go back and watch WWE Vengeance 2002, The Rock, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, one of the greatest triple threat matches of all time. I'm going to talk about one of this match later on in the future, but this match has star power now. When you saw this match on paper, this is like a match that could have happened at WrestleMania. This is how good this match was. I mean, even though the Undertaker lost that night, The Rock became the new WWE champion, but the match was so damn good. I gotta rank this as top 10 matches in WWE's history of all time. The Rock, Kurt Angle, Undertaker killed it that night in Detroit, Michigan. So damn cool. I loved it. I really did. And fast forward here, we saw Undertaker just feuding with Brock Lesnar here, which led to a Hell in a Cell match between these two, man. No Mercy 2002. Of course, Undertaker lost the match. I'm gonna take some time off away until 2003. Came back, feuded with the Big Show, dominated both Big Show and A Train that year at WrestleMania 19, become 11-0. Pretty cool. And then we even see Undertaker feud with John Cena. The one thing I loved about Undertaker and Cena is that Undertaker can make anybody famous and make anybody look good. John Cena, new character, new guy coming to the WWE at that time, but he got the shot to impress the Undertaker at Vengeance 7-3 when he's 2 1-on-1. Absolute classic. It really was. Big up to Cena for trying to pull his weight with the Undertaker in that matchup. I think got the win. I think pretty much that night, Cena got the Undertaker's respect out of that. Even though he did the very first year prior to Cena's debut, but I think he really got the Undertaker's more respect that night I'm Bad Vengeance Channel 3 in Denver, Colorado. Then here, we'll see Undertaker feudal Mr. Man, which led to a buried live match. Subsequently, I wish Undertaker had won this match. I mean, if you think about it, like, you look at history books, like, Mr. Man defeating Undertaker in a buried live match. What? That's Survivor Series? Yeah, it happened. Go back and see how Mr. Man won that match, though. But if that had happened, we would have saw the reemergence of the Dead Man at the following WrestleMania, Madison Square Garden, where it all began again. Undertaker and Kane, one more time, WrestleMania 20. Undertaker defeating Kane, letting him know, and the whole entire world know that the Dead Man is back. You even saw Paul Bearer come back. That was pretty cool. I love Paul Bearer. God rest his soul. Undertaker, Paul Bearer, hands down one of the best managers of all time. You can start to take a feuding throughout the years and years and years to come, like with these different superstars here, and it's pretty cool. You can start to take a win world championship at three more world championships to a notch, defeating Batista at WrestleMania 23, defeating Ed at WrestleMania 24, even defeating CM Punk at the Hell in a Cell 2009 pay-per-view to win three more world championships added to his notch in his belt. But here's the thing: if you really got to talk about one of the Undertaker's greatest matches, go to WrestleMania 25. Him and Shawn Michaels, one on one, in the Houston Astrodome, Houston, Texas, April of 2009. I will call it probably, in my mind, the greatest match in WWE history. Holy shit, man! I think really Undertaker and Shawn Michaels brought their best out that night. The greatest match ever. From start to finish. It told a good story. It had a good classic match. Undertaker winning that match from 17-0. Greatest show hands down. Greatest match hands down. And it was pretty surreal. They even did it again toward up WrestleMania 26. So we saw Shawn Michaels' last match and his final for the night after WrestleMania 26. But again, two classic matches. I can go back and watch those matches so many times because they were that damn good. It really brought me to my feet every single time they would hit a big spot in both those matches. Kudos to them. We even saw Triple H and Undertaker did it again in WrestleMania 27 in a no holds barred match. Even WrestleMania 28 in 2012 in that end of an era Hell in a Cell match. My God, it was pretty cool. It was damn cool. I loved it. And I know people talk about this match so much, but WrestleMania 29 with Undertaker and CM Punk also has to be up there with my favorite matches in Undertaker also because those two delivered that night. And for CM Punk to go the one on one with the Undertaker, I think it's very important for both those guys' careers to at least have that notch in the belt as well. So yeah, so kudos to CM Punk for giving Undertaker that good match at 29 in East Rutherford, New Jersey that year. And of course, we got WrestleMania 30. I didn't like it. You know, I didn't like it at all. I still won't like it, but it's a moment that we can all say that all good things must come to an end. Brock Lesnar defeated Undertaker at WrestleMania 30 to end the streak 21 and 1. Unfortunately, I'm like the guy in the crowd with his mouth always, his jaw literally on the floor. Thinking, what the hell happened? The Undertaker is not in the feet of WrestleMania no more. I cried that night. I did. I really cried. I didn't like it, but it happened. Unfortunately. So, yeah. Yeah. And we even saw, Undertaker eventually got his payback at SummerSlam 2015, the next following year there. You know, thank God. Even though technically Brock Lesnar should have won that match, but I'm glad Undertaker did. You know, they go in history books. Undertaker defeats Lesnar. SummerSlam 2015, Brooklyn, New York. Of course, we saw these two battle for the final time at Hell in a Cell 2015 there, with Brock Lesnar getting the win. And, let me tell you this much. We saw the Undertaker's, final four last night at SummerSlam. But who got forget 2015 SummerSlam? You'd think this match would have happened. You'd think, call me crazy. The Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction, going against the Wyatt family of Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. This is what you call a monster bash at a Survivor Series. This is what you call another Christmas present. The match didn't last maybe not longer than 15 minutes, but it was still a good match to see the Undertaker and Kane go up against the Wyatt family. It's like all big monsters just coming head together and having a feast. That's what we want to call it, a feast. You know. Then we won there. We saw the Undertaker and Shane McMahon WrestleMania 32, 100,000 fans that night in the AT&T Stadium in Dallas. I'll never forget seeing Shane McMahon display at the top of that cell, crashing down the table, Undertaker moving out the way. But Undertaker evidently defeated Shane McMahon that night WrestleMania. Pretty damn cool. I loved it. I really did. We even saw the following year what it did for Roman Reigns. Like, Roman Reigns giving the Undertaker a second loss at WrestleMania. At that time, when I was watching that match, when I see the Undertaker left his hat and coat in the middle of the ring, I thought at that moment was the Undertaker's last match. I thought he was going to be gone for good. I even cried a little bit that time, like, holy shit, what's Undertaker doing? And him just fading away at the middle of the entrance ramp in Orlando, Florida that night at WrestleMania. Thank God it wasn't his last match. As he returned and defeated John Cena in probably one of the most quickest WrestleMania bouts ever. Not memorable, but quick, to say the least. And we saw him take a couple of times in Saudi Arabia, further down the line, so it wasn't too bad. We saw what we thought we would never see last year at the 2018 Super Showdown, The Undertaker and Goldberg. It wasn't one of The Undertaker's best matches, but him defeating Goldberg last night, we see can have that thing of victory said he defeated Bill Goldberg in Saudi Arabia. But he made up for it though. The thing is, when you wrestle for that much amount of time, your body tend to gives out, you know. But we will see the Undertaker team up with the man that defeated in WrestleMania 33, Roman Reigns goes against Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre in an Extreme Rules tag team match at the 2019 Extreme Pay-Per-View last year. I think it's said to the Undertaker's back. Undertaker and Roman Reigns winning that match up there, pretty damn cool. It really was. Oh man. And then the weird thing about this, Undertaker's final match, him and AJ Styles, the Boneyard match, which is probably technically called a Bray Wyatt match, but they called it the Boneyard match at WrestleMania 36 this past April. Pretty damn cool. I loved it. That's when we saw the reemergence of the Undertaker American Badass character. 5-star matchup. Very much 5-star. Even though it was a thematic match, people can judge it all they want. It wasn't, oh, your traditional wrestling match, but still, that match to me was 5 stars. Basically, what I'm trying to say is thank you, Undertaker, for providing us with such great memories, moments, and matches. You gave my childhood something to remember, and mostly it was about you. Thank you, Undertaker. Thank you for providing us, the fans, me, the entire company, dedicated your 30 years to the business. And may you finally rest in peace. Get some rest yourself. And it's been a wonderful 30 years. I'm glad that I can see you on TV a lot and see you a couple times at events. And you will forever be my favorite superstar in WWE history. Thank you, Undertaker. Thank you so much. God bless you. Get some rest, buddy. You deserve it. You damn well deserve it. And thank you guys for listening to this bonus episode here. I'll be doing another episode later on about the 2020 Survivor Series event. Have a good day, everybody, and stay safe.